Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Lilbumblebear's Let's Play. I'm Kristen, and I'm back with another Legacy interactive game. This is a continuation of the Emergency Room series. In the last video, I did Emergency Room Disaster Strikes. Well, this is Emergency Room Code Blue. I hope you guys will enjoy. We're going to be helping a lot of patients. The game is more upgraded than the last one. I think we'll have some more FMV cutscenes, which I absolutely love in games in the 90s. They really were into FMV, which means full motion video, where people, were in the games. It wasn't like 3D models and stuff. It was actual people that they either green screened or just filmed video and made it a part of the game, so you really feel like you're in a real life environment, which is really cool. And I believe the main doctor actor is from a TV show in the 90s that was called Seventh Heaven, which I used to watch when I was a kid. So it's really interesting seeing familiar faces from 90s TV being computer games. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. Be sure to give the video a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. Do you remember the Legacy Interactive games? Maybe you even played this game or one of the other Emergency Room games. And of course, subscribe for more nostalgic gaming. Check out the playlist in the description box. See other simulation games on this channel. I have a Twitter and Instagram you can follow, and most importantly, a wonderful Discord server that I run, and it's filled with absolutely kind and amazing people in my community called the Beehive family. They all love gaming and nostalgia, and also they just have lots of different interests, and they're all unique and wonderful people. So if you use Discord and you'd like to come and hang out with me in my community and also catch some exclusive Discord streams, because I do record things on this channel in my Discord too for people to come and watch and hang out, join the server. Use the invite link in the description box. All right, let's get started. Please enjoy. Oh yes, disclaimer. Oh, I've seen this guy on TV too. I know this guy's face. I know him. I've seen him in shows. And he's just one of the one of the patients. Yep, I've seen this guy. All right, anyways, disclaimer. Although the developers of Code Blue have made every effort to ensure the realism of the simulation, this game is intended for entertainment purpose only. Code Blue may help you become more knowledgeable about the human body, but it is not intended as a guide for self-diagnosis or treatment. Medicine is a complex and inexact science. Diseases, treatments, and responses vary for each individual. If you suspect that you may have a medical problem, seek immediate medical care and the advice of a physician. The publisher of Code Blue disclaims responsibility for any adverse effects resulting directly or indirectly from any and all actual use of the medical procedures employed in the context of this game.
Do I know you? Oh, new recruit, right? Don't move. Neil, the diverticulitis in 2 hasn't gone upstairs yet. We need that room. Doc Clark has been looking all over for you. Hold on a minute. McGuigan. No, not a chance. We're short tonight. Don't go anywhere. Doc's on his way. He'll show you the ropes. But first, let me give you the most important piece of advice you're going to get around here. If you really want to succeed at Legacy Memorial, be very, very nice to the nurses.
Hey, been waiting for you. I'm Matt Clark. This is Nurse Julia Henderson.
Hi, welcome to Legacy Memorial. I should get back to work. See you around.
Thanks for babysitting, Carolyn. Busy?
Oh, full house as usual.
Let's not waste any more time. I'm an attending physician here in the emergency department. Each attending is assigned a resident to supervise, and you're my assignment. I'll be evaluating your work throughout your time here and reporting your progress to the Chief of Staff. And don't worry, I'll keep you informed of my conclusions. Now, I know you've spent a lot of time preparing yourself for this stage of your medical training, and I don't think you'll be disappointed matching here. Unfortunately, you've come at a time when our residency program is battling to keep our accreditation. We've had some residents of questionable character coming through here, and because of their poor ethical choices in treating patients, this hospital and staff were put on probation by the Accreditation Council. So if it seems like we're being extra cautious around here, we are. Just be careful and be thoughtful, because your decisions and your choices within the various shifts could determine whether we still have a residency program, without which this hospital will surely close. I'm kind of sentimental about the place. I did my entire training here, so I just like to keep that from happening. We're depending on you. Enough pressure for one day? Nah. How about we get started? You'll begin each shift here at the nurse's station. This is where we keep pending cases. Sometimes a nurse will fill you in on patients waiting to be seen, but since the cutbacks, we're severely understaffed, so other times you're going to be on your own. Each patient has a clipboard pertaining to his or her case. Carefully review the information. Let's see what we got. Dog bite victim. Great place to start. Once you familiarize yourself with the patient's chart, you're going to want to check the research computer for treatment ideas. Let's take our dog bite patient. To make life easier for yourself, you can download the information from the desktop onto your handheld computer. There's 2 trauma bays for critical patients. Our dog bite patient isn't critical, so we're going to see her in treatment room 1. Follow me. One thing I didn't mention, keep alert for critical cases. They can show up anytime, even if you're in the middle of treating someone. At that point, you got to decide whether to stabilize and leave your patient for the incoming trauma or keep on treating the first one.
What? Excuse me, no one's leaving until we're finished here?
No one's going anywhere.
Okay.
When you're all finished, you pick up your patient's chart, fill out the hospital orders, discharge orders, and your diagnosis. And when you finish with that, sign the bottom of the chart. I'll be back when you're done.
How did you get so good at this? Oh, you get a lot of dog bites in here and stuff? I am so sure. I think I got like that post-traumatic, what you call it, sickness, disease. Listen, maybe my case ain't serious to you, but it is to me. Get They treat that dog like it's oil or something. My mamacita never treated me so good. Whoa, just a second there. I'm all for slamming them with a big medical bill, but I gotta pay it myself first. I'm getting a lawyer to sue their butts. No, I'm gonna get a fee. I hope there's something fun in that syringe. You're pretty handy with them utensils. Little dogs are the... Oh, you are like the best doctor I have ever...
feeling?
Next time I want you to treat me and not some student doctor.
I'm sorry you feel that way, but... Okay, you're on your own now. Just remember everything I told you. Don't forget to refer back to your notes. Grab another case off the rack. I'll see you soon. Oh, and remember, keep alert for the critical cases.
Come on, come on. We're packed. Some of these folks have been waiting for hours. Pick a case and let's get going.
The little guy's John Cho. This morning he had a sudden onset of vomiting, closely followed by a weakness in his hands and feet.
And pain in his stomach.
Episodic abdominal pain over several weeks.
Plus, he's been in a very bad mood. Grumpy, sleepy.
Pressure's normal at 100 over 58, respiration's 20. The kid doesn't seem to be that sick, but the neuro exam may be a little off. The neighbor told me that Mom here leaves John home alone while she works. The apartment's a pigsty, dirty, paint peeling.
No, I don't think he ate anything strange. Please, don't just look. I catch him sleeping more than before. What do you see? He say his hand feels tired. His eye look brighter to me. A good sign. John very active, gets in everything. Put all sort of things in his mouth. John doesn't like doctor, but he react very good with you. This will pinch a little, Johnny. Here, hold Mommy's hand. Luck smile on us, John. We were given a very good doctor. I try my best to look after John, but it's hard when I work so many hours. I'm starting to really worry. How serious is this? Things are looking... He hasn't eaten all day. Doesn't... The doctors say the shot is necessary, John. Be brave. Yes, he threw up this... a mistake calling for them to take my boy. We came to this country for a better life, for freedom. Everything I do is for my son, to make life better for him. Right now, I can't afford babysitter because I'm saving up my money to send for my mother to come here to help care for him. I guess all that no longer matters, does it?
Oh God. Oh God. I can't get a breath. I can't get a breath. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. I got this pain in my chest. Look. It feels like someone tapped a weight in my chest. Right in the middle. Look. This pain. Ow! It moves down it starts on the side of my face, right? And then moves down the side of my arm. Goes right down. From all the smoke in the club. I mean, look, I had a couple martinis earlier, okay? Ah! Okay, look. I had a little problem with cocaine. I went away to rest like a year ago. It's my problem. And, I swear, I don't do it anymore, okay? Oh, I don't do it anymore. But do you think, like, in some way, this could be like a residual effect from my past habits? Ah! I cannot, repeat, cannot stay overnight. No more fooling around. I need help here. Pronto! I've got to get home. Look, don't call my husband, please. He'll be mad. I mean, he'll be worried about me, you know? I know this friend who has this friend who has lunch with an agent who could get you on ER, the TV show. Interested? Springsteen, third row. What's with the 20 questions? I'm clean. I swear. Yeah, I did a lot of powder. Large powder. Oh, but that was years ago. I kicked.
Me? Nervous? No, I just don't like hospitals, that's all. Listen, I said I was clean. This test's a waste of time. Pains in my jaw and down my arm. Doc, you rock.
I almost bought the big one this time, huh? Must be God's way of telling me it's time to grow up. Look, I put in a call to Casa de Betty Ford. See if they'll have me back once I get out of this place. Look, I'm sorry I lied to you, Doc. It's another one of my bad habits. I'm gonna make it up to you. Tickets to a really good show this weekend. And backstage passes, too. Okay?
Right. You are... don't remember the name. Another first year, right? Welcome. I don't know what you've heard about the residency program here at Legacy, but whatever it was, forget it. As far as I'm concerned, we're starting this year with a fresh slate. That means we expect much more from our residents than we have in the past. My aim is to make this one of the toughest, strictest, and most respected programs in this country. Spit out some damn good doctors in the process. We're becoming very hands-on with our new residents. I personally will be reviewing all of your work, and I can promise you, I don't miss a thing.
I've looked over the file. Shall we proceed? To properly address and treat the patient's pain, I see you opted for the med syringe. Good choice. Looks like your sewing skills came in handy on this case, didn't they? You correctly applied topical medication. It's nice to see you didn't forget the basics. You needed to bandage the wound, and you did. The treatments indicated were not necessary. Before you treat the wound, it's important to cleanse the area. Or have you forgotten that small detail? Clear and thought out, Doctor. Your discharge orders included every angle. Most of the cases that roll through here are routine and, dare I say, predictable. But occasionally we see an exotic one. Good catch. I'm impressed with your diagnosis. While this patient's case was not critical, I expect a higher standard of care from you. The lead poisoning case. Put yourself in the boy's situation, Doctor. Do you really think you'd be here if you'd grown up facing this kind of poverty? I know we don't want to aggravate a patient's condition, but confirming and locating pain are vital to a proper diagnosis. I think you'll agree with me that the CBC was invaluable for identifying this patient. Pushing for this test was the right thing to do. Without the information the screening provided, it would have been even more difficult to finger paint chips as the culprit. Sharp eyes, Doctor. This patient's weak state demanded the introduction of intravenous fluid. You forgot a few items, but on the whole, your discharge orders were good. You found the cause of this boy's symptoms. Good work. Brilliant work, Doctor. The level of care you afforded this patient exceeded my expectations. Jackie Slaven. Difficulty breathing, history of drug use, and in the music industry. Big surprise. I'm glad to see you checked rhythm. In a case like this, I found this patient's BP particularly telling. You did too. Good work. I can't believe the RR on this. What you should learn from this is how effective the 12 lead can be in determining heart ailments. Excellent. The blood test returned evidence of elevated cardiac enzymes, telltale signs of an MI. Signs of wheezing, labored breathing, or rapid breaths need attention. You helped the patient by administering oxygen via mask. The right sharp eyes, Doctor. This patient's weak state demanded the introduction of intravenous fluid. Nitroglycerin pills are a staple to treating victims of heart attacks. I'm glad to see you offered this necessary treatment. You correctly applied topical medication. You completed a majority of the required hospital orders for this patient. I'm glad you saw past Ms. Slaven's feints and made the right diagnosis. Cocaine isn't exactly truth serum. You saved this patient's life, Doctor. Well done.
Let me guess. You just finished your first shift, right? I can always tell. You got that look, like a raccoon caught in the headlights. Seen it 100 times. Don't worry, your shifts are only going to get harder. Why don't you relax in the break room? Take a nap, have a snack. You'll be sorry if you don't. Next shift will begin before you know it.
be very cautious with the Java around here. I was just going over the charts for your first shift, particularly John Chu, that lead poisoning case. Yeah, you're new here, so I can appreciate your enthusiasm, but calling in social services to take a child from the home it's a serious move. In this case, I don't see how you can claim parental neglect without previous reports or documentation of neglect. I think the move to make would have been to have a public health worker, pay the family a visit so they can assist in making the home a safer place to live for the little boy. So, just be more careful next time. Think things through, okay? Get some sleep before your next shift. You'll need it. Oh, and make a fresh pot of coffee, would you?
It was nice and quiet around here till about 5 minutes ago. Hope you brought an extra pair of scrubs.
Around children, I seem to get these darn flu bugs. Younger teachers never miss a day. Seem to have better resistance. And I've used up all my sick pay. I can't afford this. Not now. Please, not now. Truthfully, I don't ever remember feeling this bad.
My daycare children are my family, and when people ask if I have any kids, I say yes. 24. I'm nervous, so it's understandable if my heart's beating a little fast. Machines are so impersonal. If my kids were here, they'd scold me for being such a ninny. It's a miracle what they can do with technology these Must sound like a thunderstorm. I've had this cough for a few days. Must sound like a thunderstorm. Your parents must be very, very proud of you. It's the germs that get you, especially around the kids. I wash my hands, must be 34. It's evident you paid attention in school. I may still be coughing, but I'm a lot calmer. It's amazing what a confident doctor can do for your peace of mind. Sure, I smoke. Pack a day, but never around the kids. Ow! That was more than a pinch. I love them to death, but little kids are germ factories. I've always had bad lungs, but infectious flu. Sometimes I wake up in a cold. Smoking was acceptable when I started, but that was years ago.
Pneumonia. 2 weeks bed rested. What about my work? I barely have enough money to buy shampoo. Listen to me feeling sorry for myself. I'll get by. I always do. You may think I'm not grateful, but I am. You did a wonderful job, Doctor, really.
You must be new. I'm Monty Rodriguez. It's my back, doctor. It's the worst pain I've ever had. See, I've just been elevated to senior fry cook, and what with my new responsibilities and the accompanying stress, I've been a little preoccupied, so I wasn't looking when an obese garden gnome of a man in a brown hat took an umbrella and prodded me in the back with it. Without provocation, I might add. No, I am certain that I am going to need some countless x-rays and an ultrasound, maybe even surgery. Before you start, you mind sending in the nurse with a food tray?
I have a room at the Y because, well, it's so convenient to the Mickey D's.
Do I have to call in Clark, or can you handle it?
Now we're talking. Wire me up. You wouldn't believe the pressures of being a fry cook in today's marketplace. It kinda hurts. All over. You sure you don't need samples? Cultures, DNA? I'm adding you to my top 10 list. Can I keep the film? People don't respect the skill it takes to get the fries hot And I'm gonna ask for you next time. I like how thorough you are. Most doctors try to rush me.
Are you sure? You couldn't find anything wrong? Probably just a sprain then. I love the applesauce in these little cups. It keeps it from touching the fillet. Well, thank you for taking such good care of me. I'll put in a good word for you with my friends at Triage.
About his motorcycle on 10 freeway where he hit some slick road multiple times. He's complaining of sharp chest pains. Lucky for him, he had his helmet on.
Hey, dude, I'm hurting here.
20 respirations to 28. So I know 2 in the field. I tell you, if they ever took these machines off the road, the spare man would be out of a job.
Don't listen to the critics, Doc. Bikes aren't as dangerous as they say. LA drivers, nah, they're scary. They're scary. Don't need a machine to tell you. My heart's pounding. You know it's dangerous going into it. That's the part of the yeah, I landed real hard. Scraped up pretty good, huh? You know, our bike club's looking for an in-house doctor. Fix bikes as good as you fix people, and it might just be hope for my Harley. I never ride without my helmet. Kept me out of the morgue, didn't it? Scraped up pretty good, huh? A lot of doctors ride. Do you? Feels like my air intake's bust. I'm feeling a bit better. You think I'll ever ride again? She was a Harley-Davidson Sprint 350. I had just finished painting her. The fender, the chain guard. Oh. Arnez. This is that multi-talented doctor I was telling you about.
John hasn't stopped raving about you. Well, I know he still has to go through surgery, but I must admit he looks pretty good for a guy who got tossed head first from an idiot cycle.
Don't go there, Vin.
Do you care that I was worried sick about you? I'm going to sell what's left of that death machine and put the money away for a nice trip to Provence. Just the two of us.
Provence? Where's that?
We'll talk about that later.
Let's talk about it when I can breathe.
Excellent. I like what I see in this report. I have Ms. Riley's chart. Let's go over her flu bug complaint. I'm glad to see you checked rhythm. In a case like this, I found this patient's BP particularly telling. You did too. Good work. What you should learn from this is how effective the 12 lead can be in determining heart ailments. With redness in the throat, it was important to run a swab culture to rule out a possible infection. Good work. The blood gas numbers confirmed this patient's breathing problem. Sharp eyes, doctor. This patient's weak state demanded the introduction of intravenous fluid. Good. You injected antibiotics to help the patient's immune system battle the signs of wheezing, labored breathing, or rapid breaths need attention. You helped the patient by administering oxygen via mask. You thought this patient's continuing care through. The hospital staff should thank you for your thorough plan and highlighted reminders. You kept your head, went down the checklist, and reached the right conclusion. Pneumonia. Brilliant work, doctor. The level of care you afforded this patient exceeded my expectations. Monty. So you met our frequent flyer, huh? It's a rite of passage for most of us. You discharged this patient with an excellent plan for treatment and follow-up. A lot of people come to the ER presenting nondescript back pain. I'm glad you caught Monty at his old game, but still extended him the quality of care he deserves. Brilliant work, doctor. The level of care you afforded this patient exceeded my expectations. I'm glad to see you checked rhythm. In a case like this, I found this patient's BP particularly telling. You did too. Good work. I can't believe the RR on this. Sharp eyes, doctor. This patient's weak state demanded the introduction of intravenous fluid. Signs of wheezing, labored breathing, or rapid breaths need attention. You helped the patient by administering oxygen via mask. The right to properly address and treat the patient's pain. I see you opted for the med syringe. Good choice. Before you treat the wound, it's important to cleanse the area. Well done. Not an easy treatment to administer, but a necessary one in this case. You scored high marks by choosing the test tube. Good. You noted all necessary hospital orders and communicated them clearly. You conducted your examination, assisted the patient, and came to the right conclusion. You saved this patient's life, doctor. Well done.
I see you had a motorcycle injury. Femur. Ouch. You think a bad break like this will stop that patient from riding? Not a chance. We call them donor cycles around here. You'll see a lot of these cases. Not just head injuries and broken bones, but road rash, eye trauma, carpal tunnel, ear injuries. You're 14 times more likely to die riding a motorcycle than you are in a car. Idiots.
Oh, Matthew. Yeah. Security called? You need to move your motorcycle. You're parked in a handicap zone.
Hi, how you doing? Bobby Silvers. Maybe you know me as Bobby Showtime Silvers, huh? KROL, DJ? Well, anyway, you're probably asking yourself, What's up with a guy like me taking a reverse pike and tug 15 feet off a stage at a Beck concert, huh? I'm hosting the show, dude. I'm introducing the man himself, all right? I'm up there, I'm doing my intro rap, right? And I'm doing it so well, by the way, that the band is behind me shooting dagger eyes into my back because the crowd is digging it so much. And the next thing you know, I'm crashing headfirst into the pit. Ow! Ah. Yeah, my left leg, you know, up top, it's killing me. Yeah, and this neck pain won't go away.
Oh, I know loads of rock stars. Me and Beck, hey, we go way back. What you waiting for, Doc? An invitation? Whoa. That's... In my biz, you're what's known as a headliner. It feels worse than it looks, okay? You are so dope, Doc.
Cool. Great job, Doc. Very artistic. Now, can you get me out of here so I can get home and rest up? I'm broadcasting from a new shopping mall tomorrow.
Year-old Marcus Brant became the city latest robbery stat at the metro line. Another fight. Laying on the third rail, pulling his assailant down with him. Sustained electrical injuries. LAPD pulled him up. We arrived 5 minutes later. Patient was pulseless and not breathing when we found him. Thanks. We'll take proof.
Charging. Clear. Good work. Nicely done. Good call. I think you may be coming around. This patient sure is lucky you're on duty. Looks like I can learn a thing or two from you. He's pinking up. Way to go. Nice cat. It's a genuine pleasure working for you, Doc. This kid pulled a real break, landing you for his care, Doc.
Reggie Alvarez. He's the perpetrator of the crime whose outcome you've just seen. Reggie and his victim took a spill onto the third rail. He's bleeding out from his left leg. BP 100 over 50, pulse 40, respiration shallow. Gee, I just love helping the bad guys.
We don't have a second to spare.
No respect for love.
Keep it together, Doc. You have your work cut out?
Come on, Doc. We're losing.
You show real improvement. What's the rhythm sound? Leave some work for us surgeons, huh, doctor? This kid has no room to complain about the care given to him.
Still bleeding here. You're doing well, all things considered.
Clark was right. You do have a lot of promise.
Don't think this kid can afford to lose any more blood.
I like watching you work.
No change, but that's a good thing. He needs to survive this. Then we can worry about infection.
I'm starting to get jealous. You sure you're content with just ER medicine?
His breathing's getting a little...
I like what I see, Doc.
You're holding up great under pressure.
So, you lost the patient. Which, by the way, he presented never should have happened. I hope for your sake you took good notes because I'm sure the chief's going to want a full inquiry. Now, Nurse Henderson's trying to contact the next of kin, and when she gets him, I want you to be the one who calls him.
Man, I've never been more scared in my life. The lowlife went after me for $3. All the business people on the train, he picks the dirt poor freshmen. I don't remember much after the fall, thankfully. They tell me it was touch and go there for a while, but that you saved my life. I was having trouble deciding on what to major in school, Doc. But now I know. I'll start pre-med as soon as I'm well.
Please, doctor, don't make me regret my decision to bring you on board. With head and neck trauma, you don't take chances. X-rays are a must. To properly address and treat the patient's pain, I see you opted for the med syringe. Good choice. Way to identify the break and use the splint to immobilize it. You recorded what was necessary to ensure proper continued care. Do you think this patient's life is a multiple choice exam?
I literally picked the correct one. What is she talking about?
Brilliant work, Doctor. The level of care you afforded this patient exceeded my expectations. I've been looking forward to reviewing this case with you. Let's see how well you distanced your emotions from your exam and treatment. I found this patient's BP particularly telling. You did too. Good work. I can't believe the RR on this. What you should learn from this is how effective the 12 lead can be in determining heart ailments. I know we don't want to aggravate a patient's condition, but confirming and locating pain are vital to a proper diagnosis. With head and neck trauma, you don't take chances. X-rays are a must. Just think what might have happened if you failed to run this test. With head and neck trauma, you don't take chances. X-rays are a must. A very nasty break. I'm curious how you can ignore a CT scan in this case. I'm curious how you can ignore an X-ray in this case, Doc. I'm curious how you can ignore an X-ray in this case, Doc. You forgot a staple of the ER, Doctor, IV fluids. This patient's weak state demanded the introduction of intravenous. In cases of such dire pulmonary distress, chest tube protocol is required. Fractures must be immobilized, Doctor. The splint should have been used. You failed to use the cold compress. The patient's pain and swelling could have been alleviated by it. You failed to choose the endotracheal tube protocol. Before you treat the wound, it's important to cleanse the area. Or have you forgotten that small detail? Your hospital orders list is incomplete. Often our intuition can mislead us. You lost this patient, Doctor, when you could have saved him. Electrical shock case, and a critical one. We'll step through this one carefully. Talk about through the roof. You put the EKG to good use in this instance. What you should learn from this is how effective the 12 lead can be in determining heart ailments. With head and neck trauma, you don't take chances. X-rays are a must. You handle the crash cart to defib the patient like a pro. Sharp eyes, Doctor. This patient's weak state demanded the introduction of intravenous fluid. To properly address and treat the patient's pain, I see you opted for the med syringe. Good choice. To properly address and treat the patient's pain, I see you opted for the med syringe. Good choice. Before you treat the wound, it's important to cleanse the area. Well done. Before you treat the wound, it's important to cleanse the area. Well done. You correctly applied topical medication. You correctly applied topical medication. It's nice to see you didn't forget the basics. You needed to bandage the wound, and you did. It's nice to see you didn't forget the basics. You needed to bandage the wound, and you did. Signs of wheezing, shallow or rapid breathing need attention. You failed to administer oxygen, which was required in this case. I see a few missing items from your hospital orders list, but otherwise, very good. A confusing case, to be sure, made more complicated by bad or withheld outside information. I'm glad you stuck to the protocols and made the correct diagnosis. You saved this patient's life, Doctor. Well done.
The first time I lost a patient, no one said anything to me. Not the attending, not the nurses, nothing. They just went on with whatever they had to do. I was lost. I had nowhere to put all that stuff. You know what I mean? It's always going to hurt, losing a patient. You just get better at hiding it.
You want a pretzel? No? I'm on a personal slowdown. I am so sick of administration coming down here and telling us how to take care of patients. Most of them haven't worked the floor in years. I've been trying to talk the other nurses into getting unionized. Oh, forget about it. Bunch of scaredy cats. Sure you don't want one? Suit yourself.
good the doctor's here. Don't embarrass me. Please. She woke me up screaming.
I wasn't screaming.
The pain was horrible.
You are the one screaming.
Will you tell the doctor how you feel? They have plenty of other patients to see.
What do you think I've been trying to do?
All right, the pain started at her belly button, and then it moved much lower, and then she complained of nausea, and then... Oh my God. What if she's pregnant?
Oh, Mom!
If I find out you had sex with Anthony Scapello...
We haven't even hardly had sex.
Hardly? How do you hardly have sex?
How can we if you're always showing up wherever we go?
Will you deal with her, doctor?
My mom thinks she knows me, but she doesn't. Can't you see I'm in... I'm burning up. I can't stand my mom. She still treats me like I'm a 10-year-old. Ow. If I look away, I won't feel it, right? I'm feeling a bit better now that you're here. I'm not so scared anymore. My boyfriend and I agreed to wait till we're older before sex. 16, maybe 7. Don't listen to my mom. You're doing a great job. There's nothing in here that'll get me stoned, right? I know you're gonna help me. Oh, it's like a knife. Or needles. You are so cool. Like those doctors on that TV show.
I know, honey. Don't worry. I'm going to be here. Everything's going to be okay. All right? I love you. Just a second. Honey, I'll be right there, okay? Thank you, doctor. They're taking Emma up to surgery now. I'm just so happy that she's not pregnant. But deep in my heart, I know it's just a matter of time. You'll see. At least the surgery will keep her away from Tony Scarpello for a few days. Do you think you could do me a favor? Would you mind talking to the surgeons and ask them if they could keep her here for a couple of extra weeks? Thank you. Bye.
Yucklovich, an unrestrained driver in a head-on car versus concrete wall.
That's killing me.
Doctor's gonna fix you right up.
Where's Lisa? Is she okay?
Hang in there. Complaint of neck pain and pain to the left side of the chest and the right arm. 2 cm lat to his left forehead. He doesn't remember the event, but denies losing consciousness. It's in pretty good shape considering. The vehicle has severe PSI.
Will someone tell me how Lisa's doing?
The Lisa he's referring to is DOA.
Not smart. I know. I wasn't wearing my seatbelt. Lisa's okay, isn't she? Yeah, I'm banged up. Where's my fiancé? Looked pretty grim for a while there, didn't it? I just started college. Lisa's going to join me when she graduates. Ow! Careful with the arm, Lisa. I think you're onto something there. Lisa was right next to me.
I knew she was gone. Deep down, I just knew. I loved her so much. Everyone did. I just don't know what to do next, you know? It's like I'm frozen. did a great job fixing me up. But damn it, I wish you didn't. You should have just let me die. You should have just let me die.
My baby! She must have eaten something real bad. Somebody help! Doctor, my baby. She got into my cabinet. She must have taken some old pills that I had. Prescription pills. I couldn't. It's okay, sweetie. It's okay. I couldn't tell you what they were. I threw out the bottle a long time ago. Just please, come on. It's okay. It's okay, baby.
I should have called an ambulance, but I thought maybe I could just get her here. I can't get in trouble for this, right? I mean, it wasn't my fault. You know, Doc, I bet it was just some expired medication. Maybe even just some Well, she's real lucky you were on duty. Wow, I bet you could do this blindfolded. You know, Doc, I bet it was just some expired medication. Maybe even just some What's that for, Doc? You just need to pump her stuff. You're better than most of the docs I see. Oh, you know, kids, they'll just put anything in their mouth. I can tell just by looking at you that you were the doc to see. So, you know how they got in there, but, how did they get out? they're gonna take away my daughter. You happy? You're just doing this because we're poor and you think we can't fight back.
You better watch your back, Doc, because this isn't the last you'll hear from me!
You've made it to second year. Excellent. Not all of the first years were as successful as you were, but that was to be expected. You should be very proud of yourself. Keep up the good work.
You keep raising the bar for yourself, don't you? The Drake case. Yes, I heard the mother and daughter were quite the comedy team. Let's go over it. I'm glad to see you checked rhythm. In a case like this, I found this patient's BP particularly telling. You did too. Good work. I think you'll agree with me that the CBC was invaluable for identifying this patient's sharp eyes, doctor. This patient's weak state demanded the introduction of intravenous fluid. Good. You injected antibiotics to help the patient's immune system battle. Good. You noted all necessary hospital orders and communicated them clearly. Appendicitis. A good call, especially when the mother was doing her best to throw you off track. You saved this patient's life, doctor. Well done. A very nasty break. A very nasty break. Often with head and neck trauma, there may be other subtle internal injuries. You were correct in ordering this CT. With head and neck trauma, you don't take chances. X-rays are a must. Sharp eyes, doctor. This patient's weak state demanded the introduction of intravenous fluid. Good. You injected antibiotics to help the patient's immune system battle the way to identify the break and use the splint to immobilize it. Before you treat the wound, it's important to cleanse the area. Well done. This patient's stomach needed to be pumped. The NG tube irrigation syringe combo was required. Looks like your sewing skills came in handy on this case, didn't they? You correctly applied topical medication. It's nice to see you didn't forget the basics. You needed to bandage the wound, and you did. You discharged this patient with an excellent plan for treatment and follow-up. Try not to be so hasty with your diagnosis next time, doctor. You'll find your success rate will improve. Brilliant work, doctor. The level of care you afforded this patient exceeded my expectations. Unknown ingestion. It's sad how many cases like this we receive. It truly is. Signs of wheezing, labored breathing, or rapid breaths need attention. You helped the patient by administering oxygen via mask. The right correct. The nasogastric tube was required for this. Sharp eyes, doctor. This patient's weak state demanded the introduction of intravenous fluid. You forgot a vital treatment. The NG tube should have been inserted for this. You completed a majority of the required hospital orders for this patient. You pieced together the symptoms and other clues and made the right conclusion. I concur with your diagnosis. You saved this patient's life, doctor. Well done.
He's back. Your good buddy Monty. Says he has a headache, double vision, and asks if I would mind finding a portable TV for him to watch while he's in the exam room. Oh, and he requested you.
It's like a constant throbbing behind my eyeballs and the back of my head. The good old EKG. My heart's flying. Wow, this is much better than the machine at Rite Aid. Can I get a Jell-O cup? No. Uh-oh. That look. It's the big C, isn't it? get a good look. It's something serious. I think my skull is dying. Can it do that? You've improved since my last visit.
You scared me. Have I mentioned what a great job you've just done? You're gonna be chief of staff before you know it. Okay. See ya. I gotta run.
My little darlings, pick up the phone. It's Mama. Pick it up, darlings. What are you doing over there? Do I hear fighting? Stop that. No, you stop that. When I get home.
One minute he was playing with his friends, and the next he's on the ground. Knees swollen within an hour. I mean, I can't be expected to keep my eyes on him every minute. Boys will be boys, you know. What concerns us... Chris, would you like to play with your teddy bear?
Here you go.
What concerns us, Doctor, is that Chris is adopted. We know zero about his birth parents' medical history. With what's going on with him, that's just starting to scare us.
Chris is a real bundle of joy. Aren't you, Tiger? Isn't there anything you... Please tell me they look worse than they really are. See how swollen they get? They always puff up like that, even on little scrapes. Chris was literally left on a hospital doorstep when he was a newborn. We were lucky enough to adopt. I bet you'd make a terrific parent. Do you have kids? See how swollen they get? They always puff up like that, even on little scrapes. bet a lot of people forget to thank you for the job you do. It's not so much that he falls a lot, it's that he bruises so easily. Doctor, are you sure the needle won't cause more bruising? He's smiling. You must be doing something right. The machine doesn't hurt, Chris. It just takes a picture, okay? I wish I knew more about his birth parents. It might explain a lot. Even when you grab him by the arm, he bruises. Not that I grab him by the arm often, or anything. Doctor, are you sure the needle won't cause more Feel better, don't you, son? Feel better, don't you, son? We're kind of in between doctors at the... That seems to soothe... That seems to soothe... Hemophilia? I can't believe it. You know what always frightened us in considering adoption? This lack of control over what came before the child was even born. You hear all the horror stories. But the minute my husband and I laid our eyes on Chris, we knew that nothing in this world, nothing from his past, would stop us from laying down our lives for him. This hemophilia? Minor bump in the road. Thanks for taking such good care of our son, Doctor.
Hernandez, near drowning victim.
He couldn't find his baseball. 5 minutes I left him alone. 5 minutes I went upstairs to find the baseball.
You should have taken Manny with you.
He was eating his cereal, Roberto.
¿Cómo es que el niño se cayó en la alberca, Griselda?
He was floating, facing down. I pulled him out and then I saw his baseball was at the bottom of the pool. He wanted his baseball.
Please. He's our only grandchild. We raised him since he was 2 years old. Don't let him die.
I want to be in the room with Manny.
No, it won't be good for you. I go.
Please,
You stay. It's a round pool. It's not underground. It's not heated. The water is like ice. Every moment you delay, you kill him. We wrapped him in blankets all the way here. His skin is like ice. Thank God he guided us to you. His color is much better now, Doctor. It looks like we put our faith in the right... I think he twitched. That's good, right? Please, tell me you have good...
Oh, doctor, we're so happy our Manny is much better. I thank God he guided us to you. Roberto and I will put you in our prayers. Bless you.
Exceeding expectations. Just what I like to see in first-year candidates. Headache and double vision this time? Monty's getting more and more creative. I'm glad to see you checked rhythm. In a case like this, you forgot a few items, but on the whole, your discharge orders were good. As you know, headaches can be minor or preface something major, and double vision shouldn't be ignored. I'm glad you ruled this as a case of a simple headache. Brilliant work, Doctor. The level of care you afforded this patient exceeded my expectations. The complete blood count numbers helped to verify this patient's infection. Good job. This patient required blood labs, and the data should have warned you of possible anemia, malnutrition, and amphetamines. With bruising like this, coupled with tenderness, it's always wise to take x-rays. Good. With bruising like this, coupled with tenderness, it's always wise to take x-rays. Good. Sharp eyes, Doctor. This patient's weak state demanded the introduction of intravenous fluid. You correctly applied the cold compress to address the swelling. Way to identify the break and use the splint to immobilize it. Clear and thought out, Doctor. Your discharge orders included every angle. You need to listen to your patients more carefully. Had you done so, you would have made the right diagnosis in this case. Brilliant work, Doctor. The level of care you afforded this patient exceeded my expectations. Near drowning, and a little boy, too. If I never saw another pediatric emergency, I wouldn't be disappointed. Talk about through the roof. You put the EKG to good use in this instance. I can't believe the RR on this. The endotracheal tube protocol was required, and you followed through like a vet. Sharp eyes, Doctor. This patient's weak state demanded the introduction of intravenous fluid. To properly address and treat the patient's pain, I see you opted for the med syringe. Good choice. You signed the patient into the hospital, but failed to list a comprehensive plan for hospital care. Be more careful next time. You made the correct diagnosis for this patient. You saved this patient's life, Doctor. Well done.
I've just come off the road. Chattanooga, Baton Rouge, Memphis. I'm home a day when I reach for Elizabeth. You know, being in the mood. It was embarrassing, Doc. I could hardly perform. That ain't never happened before. Elizabeth's my 29 Gibson L 00. Supposed to belong to Robert Johnson himself. But I can't play her now, Doc. My arms got this big, ugly thing on it. Hurts like hell. I got a tour coming up, and I'm starting to worry I ain't gonna make it. Oh yeah, I drink a little too much, smoke a little too much. We all gotta go sometime. When the sound check's over, the fans expect the band to play. So play, Doc. Ooh-wee, that look bad. At gigs, the bars offer you free drinks. And how can you refuse free drinks? My arm is mighty pleased with you already, Doc. Watch those nerve endings, Doc. I tend to need them. My fans will be happy I came to see you. Come on, see me at the Checkerboard Lounge, West LA. I'll dedicate a song when I was a dumbass kid. I mainlined H, heroin, wound up half dead in this very same hospital. This one's for you, Doc, to show my gratitude. Well, I know it's going to take a little time. Oh, but I already feel an improvement. I give a rain check on that song.
The guy who was robbed, the one in treatment room 1, sells jewelry. Oh, don't worry, I got his permission to look. This must be his costume collection. Robbers weren't interested in this stuff. Can't afford real jewelry anyway, not on my salary. Bet if I tell him what I take home a week, he'd feel sorry for me. Give me a discount. What do you think?
I hate LA. It's a jungle, and it's crowded, and it's not even my stinking territory. I sell jewels. I came into town to see a client. Well, I'm not out of LAX, and in the cab 2 minutes when we get robbed. These 2 guys broke a window and came at me with a knife. That's how I hurt my arm. Self-defense. They got away with most of the jewels, but not all. I did some quick thinking and hid some. I swallowed 4 of them. Okay, maybe 6 of them. Maybe a couple of dozen.
Just scooped them up and, well, you know, down the Doc, the pain. It ain't going away by its... Nervous? Yeah, I think you can safely say I'm nervous. Relax, he says. Calm yourself, he says. Try having a few grand in your gullet, then we'll talk about calm and relax. Got that, fending him off. Well, flailing him off. And people say Miami's dangerous. He sliced me good there. I won't get a scar, will I? Think I can get a copy of that? To show my friends and family back. With this talent, surprised you ain't raking it in with, cosmetic enhancement. You like jewelry? For you? Wholesale. And people say New York's dangerous. Aye! Not bad. For an LA doctor, that is. And people say Jersey's dangerous. Hey, I got robbed once already today. What do you want to do? Take me to the cleaners? Ouch! That's... Don't make it too perfect. A small scar might show my boss all I've gone through. I'm gonna start selling shoes. Who'd hit you over the head for a pair of tops? That helps a lot, Doc. Thanks.
So let me get this straight. I sit in here until the jewels exit? You know what? I would have preferred surgery. But you did a great job, Doc. Very understanding. So tell me, it's not going to hurt too bad when they come out, is it?
I'm not her mother. I'm Stacy's headmistress at Emerton boarding school. The kids found her, unconscious in her room, blood everywhere. I brought her myself. Maybe that was dumb. I didn't think to call 911. Diet pills. The girls take them to stay thin. Stacy had an empty bottle on her counter. She has an eating disorder. Please help her.
TV's to blame. Stick figures in every commercial. Get a move on.
Don't look at me. Let me die. Please just let me die.
We're losing her, Doctor. Her numbers are dropped.
Don't look at me. I don't want to talk about it.
Hard to find a vein. PP's so low. You're handling this one like...
Ow. I feel better. I don't want to feel better.
How could that school let this go so far? Isn't anyone watching over the...
I'm not worth saving.
She's looking better. Which in her case, isn't saying...
just started at this new school, and everything seems so easy for the other girls. I just can't. Something is wrong inside of my head, and I think different. I hate it. I want to be normal. Mrs. Connolly says that you're keeping me in the hospital. They're gonna make me eat, aren't they? I don't want to. I feel so fat already.
I'm excited to see how you're progressing. Good. You injected antibiotics to help the patient's immune system battle. Before you treat the wound, it's important to cleanse the area. Well done. You correctly applied topical medication. You brought the bleeding under control with a gauze. It's nice to see you didn't forget the basics. You needed to bandage the wound. You recorded what was necessary to ensure proper continued care. I agree with your diagnosis. Brilliant work, doctor. The level of care you afforded this patient exceeded my expectations. I've seen a lot of people swallow a lot of things, but thousands of dollars in jewels? That's a new one. I'm glad to see you checked rhythm. In a case like this, I found this patient's BP particularly telling. You did too. Good work. Good. You injected antibiotics to help the patient's immune system battle. Before you treat the wound, it's important to cleanse the area. Well done. Looks like your sewing skills came in handy on this case, didn't they? You correctly applied topical medication. It's nice to see you didn't forget the basics. You needed to bandage the wound. You needed to bandage the wound. You forgot to suture the wound, Doc. Before you treat the wound, it's important to cleanse the area. Or have you forgotten that small detail? Doctor, you forgot to apply topical medication. Clear and thought out, Doctor. Your discharge orders included every angle. Well done. You correctly diagnosed this patient's problem. Brilliant work, doctor. The level of care you afforded this patient exceeded my expectations. I'm glad to see you checked rhythm. In a case like this, I found this patient's BP particularly telling. You did too. Good work. Good job. This patient required blood labs, and the data should have warned you of possible anemia, malnutrition, and amphetamines. Signs of wheezing, labored breathing, or rapid breaths need attention. You helped the patient by administering oxygen via mask. The right sharp eyes, doctor. This patient's weak state demanded the introduction of intravenous fluid. Good. You injected antibiotics to help the patient's immune system battle the correct. The nasogastric tube was required for this. You correctly applied the cold compress to address the swelling. Before you treat the wound, it's important to cleanse the area. Well done. This patient's stomach needed to be pumped. The NG tube irrigation syringe combo was required. Looks like your sewing skills came in handy on this case, didn't they? You correctly applied topical medication. You correctly applied the cold compress to address the swelling. Before you treat the wound, it's important to cleanse the area. Well done. This patient's stomach needed to be pumped. The NG tube irrigation syringe combo was required. Looks like your sewing skills came in handy on this case, didn't they? You correctly applied topical medication. It's nice to see you didn't forget the basics. You needed to bandage the wound, and you did. The treatments indicated were not necessary. You thought this patient's continuing care through. The hospital staff should thank you for your thorough plan and highlighted reminders. Sometimes we are our patient's worst enemies. We are so sure of ourselves that you saved this patient's life.
Dorm room caught fire. He jumped 2 stories, landing on concrete. Burn injuries to his hands and arms. Before he lost consciousness, complained of leg and pelvic pain. He also inhaled a lot of smoke. BP 90 over 60, pulse 120, respiration to 26.
Joey? Where did they take my son?
Sir?
No.
Sir?
Joey, it's that. Please,
Sir,
help my son, please.
Please, that you in the trauma room. You have to promise to stand off to the side and let the doctor do his work.
Fine. Just make him out.
Fell 2 stories, poor.
He's really laboring for air here, Doctor. Don't like the look of that. I was wondering when you'd remember that. Excellent. The rate you're going, this kid will be walking out of here and... I'm glad you caught that. His color's improving, Doc. You know what that result indicates, don't you, Doctor? Careful not to tear the skin. He's in bad shape, but it's a miracle it wasn't... Just because you're doing well doesn't mean you should get... That's a nasty break, if ever I did. I may have underestimated. That's a nasty break, if ever I did. Yes, you're right. Fluid and narrowing. Definite signs of smoke inhalation.
taking Joe to surgery now. Joe's not gonna like it when he wakes up after they're finished with him. A hospital scare him since his mom passed. But if that's the worst of it, we're in good shape. He might even be running track again real soon. I'm very grateful to you, the staff, everyone.
Matthew Bungle struck in the chest by a soccer bar during the game.
I saw it. My kid was deliberately targeted.
I can't breathe.
Did you hear that? He can't breathe. Is he gonna be okay?
You have to talk to the doctor.
I'm going in with you. I want to be my son.
They didn't call the game, son. I mean, you still won.
The ball slammed him hard. At first, I thought the wind just got knocked out of him. Forward, mid, defense. The boy does it all. You're so good with my boy, Doctor. Thanks. Way to be, Matt. Way to be.
I want to have surgery.
This is nothing. This is minor, okay? I'm gonna be right outside. I am not gonna leave this hospital. All right, I promise. Hey, he looks pretty good. My kid, thanks. They're gonna open him up, explore. Does they have to do that? I mean, what kind of recovery time are we talking post-surgery? You know, a couple days, a week? So what I'm trying to ask is, this isn't going to take Matthew out for very long, is it? You know, because his team depends on it. You know, it's very important to him. Soccer, it's very important. It's his whole world. Finally.
We've been waiting almost 2 hours.
I told you this would happen in the county hospital.
We had nowhere else to go.
Annie, please, just be quiet.
Will you please just hurry up and look at our son?
He fell this morning. It's nothing serious, I'm sure, but he says it hurts, so.
So it better be serious. I lost a whole day's work to come down here.
He falls a lot. Boys do, I guess. Fall. Right, Cullen?
Colin's going to be more careful when he's playing next time. Isn't that right, Colin? Kids need a solid foundation. Decisive parents, they have to learn right. He's a good kid, he's just a bit clumsy. It's clear that your parents raised you right. Hey, it's his arm that's hurt. Or didn't you hear that? I just wish he was more aggressive. Yeah, I mean, he's adventurous and all, but that's why he hurts himself so much. It's nothing if you ask me. My wife's a bit hysterical at times, overreacts. Believe me, we're gonna have a serious talking to when we get home. You listening, son? It's nothing if you ask me. My wife's a bit hysterical at times, overreacts. Doc, I don't want to step into your business until now, when it becomes my business. I'm not paying for these expensive and wasteful tests. Now suck it up, Colin. I think that's helping. The only way he'll learn respect is you do what the doctor tells you. Like a badge of courage. You're going to be the envy of all the neighborhood kids wearing this. That's the way. Take it like a man, Col. I think that's helping.
You had no right!
Rafer, no.
How dare you interfere with my family? You don't know anything about us.
It's crazy. We would never even hurt Colin.
I am responsible for my family. Not you, not this hospital. Colin is my own flesh and blood. Get your own life.
Where have you taken him? We want our son back.
Crazy damn liberals see abuse and everything. Come on, Annie, let's go talk to our lawyer.
You're coming along fine, just fine. Joe Reese. This kid's obviously a fighter, trying to fend off the flames and making a dangerous jump like that. Let's see what you did for him. I'm glad to see you checked rhythm. In a case like this, what you should learn from this is how effective the 12 lead can be in determining heart ailments. Good work. The blood gas numbers confirmed this patient's breathing problem. Yes, I see how the CBC indicated blood loss and led to your conclusion of internal bleeding. Good job. This patient required blood labs, and the data should have warned you of possible anemia, malnutrition, and amphetamines. With head and neck trauma, you don't take chances. X-rays are a must. A very nasty break. A very nasty break. A very nasty break. A very nasty break. The endotracheal tube protocol was required, and you followed through like a vet. Sharp eyes, doctor. This patient's weak state demanded the introduction of intravenous fluid. Good. You injected antibiotics to help the patient's immune system battle the way to identify the break and use the splint to immobilize it. Way to identify the break and use the splint to immobilize it. Before you treat the wound, it's important to cleanse the area. Well done. You correctly applied topical medication. It's nice to see you didn't forget the basics. You needed to bandage the wound, and you did. The treatments indicated were not necessary. I see a few missing items from your hospital. You conducted your examination, assisted the patient, and came to the right conclusion. You saved this patient's life, Dr. Matthew Mungle. Difficulty breathing. Sports accidents can be more severe than they first look. Let's see how. I'm glad to see you checked rhythm. In a case like this, I can't believe the RR on this. Signs of wheezing, labored breathing, or rapid breaths need attention. You helped the patient by administering oxygen via mask. Before you treat the wound, it's important to cleanse the area. Well done. Not an easy treatment to administer, but a necessary one in this case. You scored high marks by choosing the test tube. Sharp eyes, doctor. This patient's weak state demanded the introduction of intravenous fluid. Good. You injected antibiotics to help the patient's immune system battle the... You thought this patient's continuing care through. I agree with your diagnosis. You saved this a very nasty break. You correctly applied the cold compress to address the swelling. Way to identify the break and use the splint to immobilize it. To properly address and treat the patient's pain, I see you opted for the med syringe. Good choice. You recorded what was necessary to ensure proper continued care. A confusing case, to be sure, made more complicated by bad or withheld outside information. Brilliant work, Doctor.
Oh, hey, guess what? Colin Shucott, the suspected abused child, he has OI. It's osteogenesis imperfecta, a genetic disorder that causes bones to break easily, often for little or no apparent cause.
Matthew, they need you in 2. Not urgent.
Thanks. See, a person with OI may get anywhere from a few to as many as several hundred fractures in a lifetime. It's often mistaken for child abuse because it usually goes undiagnosed. The child is written off as accident-prone.
They also need you in 1.
Okay, I'll be right there. See, that's why Colin's folks were so jumpy. They go from hospital to hospital with this kid's endless number of broken bones, and they're terrified the doctors will accuse them of abusing their kid, which is just what you did.
And the chief needs to see you in her office just as soon as you get done here.
Julia, why don't you just tell me all this at once?
Well, that wouldn't be any fun now, would it?
So, anyway, this case is what I call a mega zebra. It's one that's nearly impossible to diagnose in an ER, so you're off the hook this time.
Found him in the park gardens talking gibberish to a palm tree. No ID, nothing. I'm thinking PCP.
No! No PCP!
Addicts. It takes all kinds. What do all these numbers really mean, anyway? He felt hot when we dragged. Ran a check on this guy. He's a landscaper of all things. Don't know how you're handling this, Loon, but you are. After you're done, I've got this pain in my shoulder. I'd like you to take a look. You've got my respect. Yeah, we see these cases all the time. Crystal meth, PCP. Too routine for my taste. Kid doesn't know how lucky he is to have a doc. Hey! He got me. Look out. In the cup, pal. In the cup. My partner and I were very concerned for you, sir. You're lucky. Most cops would have figured you for an addict. You could have ended up in the tank overnight. Just goes to show not all the LAPD are bad guys. Isn't that right, Doctor?
The officers were telling me how I was acting. I'm so ashamed. I can't believe I was so stupid. Next time I'll wear gloves when I'm handling pesticides. It's amazing you figured it all out. I'm lucky I had you as a doctor. Thanks.
Hello, doctor. This is Pedro Mami, known to most of us nurses as Pedro Le Pew for his thoughtful lack of hygiene. Pedro's been vomiting blood for ¿qué tiempo ha estado vomitando?
¿Qué tiempo? 3 horas y una masa negra.
3 hours. He says he's also vomiting some black stuff. How much do you drink, Pedro? ¿Qué cantidad de alcohol toma?
No, yo no tomo mucho.
Pedro.
Bueno, un cuarto de vodka.
Quart of vodka a day.
Uno por la mañanita y otro por la tardecita.
Make that twice a day. He's all yours, doc.
Yeah, I think you can call Pedro a regular. Look out! It's Robo Pedro!
Okay, that doctor looked super, or maybe it's a nurse. I think it's a nurse, sorry. That nurse looks super familiar. I feel like I've seen him. Does anyone know who that is by any chance? I feel like I've seen him on TV or in a movie. I mean, I'm sure there's tons of actors in this game, like I mentioned, but I just can't place
Pedro's
this
the patient
guy. I
at the
know him
clinic for
somewhere.
gastritis, when he remembers to keep his appointments. BP's on the low side. I'm impressed, Doctor. What do you make of that? Vamos, Pedro, como un hombre. What do you know, Doc? Pedro's taking a shine to...
mire, para usted. Oye, eso no es tuyo. Eso es del doctor.
Clear across town. You're the only level 1 that's not close to ER stat. She's Alice Frank, found mid-seizure by her doormate, who told us Alice has had a cough, sore throat, low-grade fever, and headache all day. Her BP is 92/50, pulse 140, respirations at 20. Her skin is warm and moist to the touch. One's open.
Question is, what leaps an otherwise healthy girl into a seizure? The patient is burning up, doctor. I don't like her color, doctor. Let's hope she keeps improving. You be strong, dear. Good work, doctor. She's got some color back. That a girl, Alice. You hang. What are your findings? BP's coming up. She's looking better.
Great call. I've been here a long time, honey. And the job you did for that girl was a lot better than half the nitwits who come through here. You pulled her through. Congratulations. How does it feel to be a third-year resident? You've gone far. Can't say I'm too surprised. I always knew you had what it takes to make it here. So don't screw it up now, make me look bad. Back to work.
Your work makes me proud, Doctor.
Now, that was unexpected. Shall we review Mr. Mosley's case file? Talk about through the roof. You put the EKG to good use in this instance. I found this patient's BP particularly telling. You did too. Good work. Signs of wheezing, labored breathing, or rapid breaths need attention. You helped the patient by administering oxygen via mask. The right to sharp eyes, doctor. This patient's weak state demanded the introduction of intravenous fluid. I see a few missing items from your hospital orders list, but otherwise, very good. Most impressive, doctor. You reached the correct diagnosis. And given the officer's testimony, it was a difficult one, to be sure. Brilliant work, doctor. The level of care you afforded this patient exceeded my expectations. Talk about through the roof. You put the EKG to good use in this instance. What you should learn from this is how effective the 12 lead can be in determining heart ailments. I think you'll agree with me that the CBC was invaluable for identifying this patient. Good job. This patient required blood labs, and the data should have warned you of possible anemia, malnutrition, and alcohol poisoning. Signs of wheezing, labored breathing, or rapid breaths need attention. You helped the patient by administering oxygen via mask. The right sharp eyes, doctor. This patient's weak state demanded the introduction of intravenous fluid. Correct. The nasogastric tube was required for this. You completed a majority of the required hospital orders for this patient. Well done. You correctly diagnosed this patient's problem. Brilliant work, doctor. The level of care you afforded this patient exceeded my expectations. Talk about through the roof. You put the EKG to good use in this instance. I found this patient's BP particularly telling. You did too. Good work. The complete blood count numbers helped to verify this patient's infection. You made the right call here, doctor. You accurately assessed the situation and lumbar puncture was required. Signs of wheezing, labored breathing, or rapid breaths need attention. You helped the patient by administering oxygen via mask. The right sharp eyes, doctor. This patient's weak state demanded the introduction of intravenous fluid. Good. You injected antibiotics to help the patient's immune system battle the... Good. You noted all necessary hospital orders and communicated them clearly. Most of the cases that roll through here are routine and, dare I say, predictable. But occasionally we see an exotic one. Good. You saved this patient's life, doctor. Well done.
Well, so your bizarro Mr. Mosley was an insecticide exposure, and the LAPD was convinced it was PCP. I'm glad you dug a little deeper. Just a word of caution about having the police involved in your case. They have a different agenda, and that can get in the way of you doing your job. The officers have done their work. Now it's your turn. Don't be afraid to tell the cops to back off your patient. The investigation can continue after you're finished. From past experience, I can tell you Officer Griffin is particularly annoying. He once refused to leave the trauma room because he wanted to get a confession from the dying banger we had on the table. Well, the guy died before he got his confession, and he blamed us for screwing up his case. You want a bite? Go on. Go on.
I copy, yes. ETA? Roger. Incoming NVC, family of 3, multiple trauma. Let's make room for him, people. I hope you're rested, because I have a hunch this is your big chance to show the powers that be that you have what it takes.
Harris, restrained passenger in a car versus SUV. Emma's complaining of pain in her left forearm. BP 100/58, pulse 88, respirations at 20. Her mom and dad were also in the vehicle. They don't look half as good as she does.
Make it stop. It hurts so much.
Can you take her from here? I gotta go get the dad. Come on.
Mommy says Dad drives too fast all the time. She's gonna be mad. Would you hold my hand? Why does it look like that? Where are my mom Mom and Dad? Why aren't they here? My arm is hurting me so bad. Ow! I want my mom. Bobby Johnson likes to show off his tummy scar. Wait till he sees it. No, please, no, no, please. Promise you won't leave me alone. Please don't hurt me. Please. Can I use this for show? I like you much more than my friends at school.
Samantha Smith, unrestrained driver involved in that car versus SUV. Husband and daughter were both injured. Samantha hit her head on the windshield, losing consciousness for approximately 1 minute. Complained of pain in her forehead, nausea, and dizziness. Threw up once in the ambulance, started on O2 just to be safe.
Come on, doctor, you're not doing any good standing out here. Speed is everything with a head injury.
How's my daughter? Oh, my husband. He was hurt badly, wasn't he? My head, above my eye, it hurts so much, it feels like it'll explode. Please, do the same for my...
You make it look easy.
Is Emma...
I'm very impressed, Doctor. Looks like you're in the zone today, Doctor. I like that move, Doctor. You must have learned it from me. Classic case of...
Calm down, Mr. Harris. You didn't kill anyone. Phil Harris, a strange driver, and that Carver's his SUV you've been bringing in.
Where's my family?
They're here. He's having trouble breathing, chest pain, bruising all over his body. It took us 10 minutes to extricate him from the car.
I can't catch my breath.
Well, guys, that's gonna wrap up this gameplay of Code Blue. I wish I could keep going, but my game had crashed, and my save file didn't work. So that's unfortunate. But let's all pretend that I did save the family of the car crash, and that I went on to be a wonderful doctor. And don't worry, this won't be the last emergency room game you'll see on my channel. But I do hope that you enjoyed the gameplay and kind of seeing how fun these games are with all the wacky characters and actors that will be in each case. It's a very fun game. I thoroughly enjoy all the effort that they put into this. But yes, give the video a thumbs up, leave a comment down below sharing your thoughts, and of course subscribe for more nostalgic gaming. Remember, you are special and loved. You are never alone. You're always welcome to come back and hang out anytime. Until the next video, God bless. I will see you all later. Bye-bye, everyone.